Well, in fact, we have a full list of countries that have backed China over Hong Kong and the security law. And this list categorically and clearly indicates who all have fallen into China's block. The world is divided. Rishabh Gulati, my colleague, is with us on the broadcast. Rishabh, I believe you have the names of all those countries who have decided to back China when it comes to this law.
Yeah, Vineet, it's pretty clear exactly how the dice is now unfolded. And in the new race that is happening, in the backdrop of another Cold War and potentially a global war-like scenario that is being created by the Chinese, the vote that has just taken place over Hong Kong and Xinjiang has given us a clearer indication of at the present moment who stands where. So here's the complete list. These are the countries that have voted in favor of China in this law that they brought in Hong Kong. They include, no surprises, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait. What is troubling and surprising is that Sri Lanka, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE have voted in favor of China. Egypt, Bahrain, Belarus, Burundi, Cambodia, Cameroon, the Central African Republic, Comoros, Congo, Cuba, no surprises, North Korea voted for China, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Gabon, Gambia, Laos, Lebanon, Nicaragua, Niger, Oman, Papua New Guinea. We just discussed the fact that Nepal voted in favor of China under the stewardship of PM Oli. Syria, Venezuela, Yemen, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Myanmar, Belarus, Morocco, Mozambique, Lesotho, Mauritania, Palestine, Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. So, a lot of African countries, the Chinese have managed to step on their heels and ensure that they get the support. They're claiming the support of 53 countries in total, including the Cubans who moved the resolution. That the Pakistanis and the Myanmaris back them, of course, is no surprise. What can be done to convince the Saudis, the Emiratis, and the Lankans on the error of their ways? Now it's a question. On the other side, meanwhile, Vineet, there have been 27 countries that have absolutely roasted China over Xinjiang and Hong Kong. These include the US, Britain, France, Germany, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Switzerland, and 15 European Union nations. So there is now a clear two blocks that have been created by this one particular vote that has happened on Hong Kong and Xinjiang, and it gives us a position on whom the Chinese are managed to put under their boot heel or woo over, whom need to be worked upon, and whose lies on the other side.
Rishabh, very interesting. The list of countries which was read by you, apart from UAE, which perhaps can call itself developed to a certain extent, but they're also running out of oil. They will have a problem in about 30 years when they do run out of crude oil. They'll only be dependent on tourism. Most of the other countries that have been mentioned in this list seems like, for the lack of a better word, are in a dire need of China, so to speak.
You know, the reality is that in a global order, there are some countries that are going to back the Chinese no matter what. Pakistan is one of them, for example. So the question then remains, Vineet, is who are the countries that have a foot in both camp and then can actually be worked on? The Sri Lankans are definitely in a position where Indian diplomacy can now work on this. With the Saudis and the Emiratis, U.S. diplomacy and our diplomacy can can work on them. So these are not lost causes. These are causes that can be still worked upon. Why specifically what leverage Beijing has brought into bear on these countries in this specific vote is one issue. But I think these can be worked on. Iran, it seems, is very firmly in the Russia-China axis. Even though Iran has been, and India has tried to maintain a relationship with Iran despite everything that's happened with the Americans, after a point they are firmly in the Russia-China axis. North Korea has had major issues with China in the past, but in the present circumstances, again seems to be in the Russia-China axis. So some are the predictable ones. The African countries, those who are not realizing and not revolting against the Chinese, basically simply turning them into colonies again, some of them have and some of them are not. So countries that are heavily in debt, for example, Tajikistan, a country heavily in debt to China, is backing China over this, so that's no big surprise. But certain countries can be worked upon. But what is clear and needs to be emphasized is that this list now gives us a starting point of the two new blocks that have been created in this new world order, Vineet.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.